It's no scary, because I think I work really hard to go ahead and sit that exam, and then now to get this email, this frightening email to tell me that I will have to go ahead and sit the exam again. So hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. So today I'm going to talk about, the requirements to keep your advanced practice RN license as a nurse practitioner. So if you haven't tuned into the channel as yet, thanks for watching the video. Please go ahead and subscribe, like, share. So today I'll tell you how I went about getting my certification license with the state of Texas, which is where I'm at. Whichever state you're in, then feel free to, research on that state and the nursing board, so that way you can be familiar with what the requirements are, so that way you don't end up, doing or missing something that is pertinent to your state. So I did the AANP exam through the board, the certification board. And when you do that exam, you have to ensure that you have the bare minimum every either 5 or 6 years in order to keep your certificate to say that you are an adult gerontology nurse practitioner. Outside of that, if you don't do that, then you lose that credential, and then you'd have to sit that exam in order to get back that credential added to your name. Otherwise, you just have a master's of science in nursing, and that's it. You're not an advanced practice RN, you're not a nurse practitioner, you don't have, you just have a master's of science in nursing. And so you have to ensure that you have the bare minimum. When I calculate it, every 2 years when you're renewing your RN license, your APRN, which is the advanced practice registered license, is gonna be renewed at that same time. For the first year, it's gonna be renewed at the time of your birthday. They're not expecting you to have all the clinical hours or the continuing education hours that you need, because it is so much. But what they're doing is that they're going to be waiving that hours, the continuing education hours that you need. They're going to waive it, so that way you don't have to, try and figure out how you're going to do that. Because what if you already just get your nursing license as a APRN in January and your birthday is in February? So they go ahead and they waive it. So you get that waive for the next 2 years. And then at the 2 years mark, just make sure that when you're renewing, you have all of your clinical hours that you require and your continuing education hours, because there's no more waiving after that. All right. So if you see me looking down here, it's because I'm looking at some information regarding, the relicensing, so that way I can ensure that I give you the best information. So for continuing education for RN, you need 20 hours or 30 hours of continuing education, and you continue practicing as a RN in that aspect. And then your APRN, you get it renewed every 2 years. So every 2 years, you need to have at least a minimum of 400 clinical hours. And then you need to have a minimum of 20 continuing education hours. If you are doing any prescriptive drugs or for narcotics or anything like that, controlled substances, you need to do a 3-hour course, continuing education on that. Say, let's get that 1,000 clinical hours going, and the continuing education hours, the 100 continuing educations that you need every 5 years to get your certificate recertified, then you would have to go and sit that exam again. And who wants to sit another exam? I know definitely I don't want to do it. So fly high or fly low, I am going to go ahead and make sure that I find the bare minimum. So after sending out a lot of applications for jobs as a nurse practitioner, a lot of them came back saying, oh, you didn't meet the requirements, or they need somebody with experience, or they're going to consider somebody who has a background in, as an RN in that area. And so I was kind of just, sad about the whole situation. And so I was on my way, packing things. The night I went to bed, I got an email from the board to explain the difference, because apparently a lot of persons are confused regarding this, because they don't know that you have to do the recertification through the AANCB, which is the certification board, and then you have to also go ahead and do the renewal through your Texas board or your nursing council board in your state. And so they were just kind of giving you the difference. And when I look at it, I'm like, 1,000 clinical hours. I'm like, well, I probably need to open up back those Indeed, ZipRecruiters and all, in order to ensure that I start sending out more applications, because this is no scary. because I think I work really hard to go ahead and sit that exam, and then now to get this email, this frightening email to tell me that I will have to go ahead and sit the exam again after I had put off this thing for so long because I always thought that I wasn't ready. I was like, no way. So I tell you that I jumped back onto the computer and opened up all the accounts that I had and started sending out different applications, you know, to different companies, so that way I can start getting my 1 and 2 days at least in order to meet the requirements for renewal every 2 years. And then hopefully I would get the renewal satisfied for the every 5 years, because I wasn't in a position to go and sit this exam again. I will never be in a position to go and sit this exam again. So I will never have this exam or this certificate. I will never have the certificate expire on me. Even if I'm not practicing, I'm gonna find something that I can do as needed, PRN, as we normally would say, and just go ahead and make sure I get the bare minimum clinical hours, because I don't want to do this again. I work too hard for it. All right, so anyways, back to the whole thing. So just bear in mind that the certification board has their hours that you need to have, and then the Texas board has their hours that you need to have. At the end of the day, you know, all the hours that you do with registering every 2 years as an advanced practice RN, you know, when you're doing your licensing, then those hours, you can still use them as a part of your certification for your AANCP certification board renewal in the next 5 years. Also, I just go ahead and print out some information. I went ahead and printed out the information because I just want to make sure I have it, so that way at the time when it's like, you know, January, and my birthday is gonna be in June, and when January pops up, I want to ensure that I have the required information at hand, and I want to know that I tick off everything, because I don't want it to be a case where I miss anything. So I have the renewal requirements and I highlight them, so that way, you know, you can actually have the information up front as a reminder every day. And then what I do is I label it nurse practitioner information. So that way, you know, it just kind of keeps me on track for when it's time for renewal, because this is serious business. All right, so basically basically it says here, the renewal requirements, it has 2 options for recertification renewal. Option 1 is to recertify by clinical practice hours and continuing education, which is the easiest one. You need a minimum of 1,000 practice hours as a nurse practitioner in the population focus of certification, performing 1 or more roles of direct patient care provider, administrator, educator, and or researcher. Practice must be during the 5-year certification period, and you need a minimum of 100 contact hours of advanced continuing education. And then it says if you do a pharmacology continuing educations are required, you need 25 credits of the 100 continuing education hours. It must be in the advanced practice pharmacology that are completed within that same 5-year certification period. Precepting is an optional criterion and can be used to replace up to 25% or 25 non-pharmacology continuing education credits. Precepting is defined as serving as a clinical preceptor for interdisciplinary advanced health students while providing direct patient care as a nurse practitioner in the area of certification. To convert clinical preceptor hours to continuing education hours, see the conversion table that they have on the website. A maximum of 125 preceptor hours may replace 25 non-pharmacology continuing education hours or credits. And you must hold your current RN licensure during the period of recertification. So this is not no make up something. This is not no make up something. This is what the AANP certification board is saying. You understand? So please, people, if you are, you know, advanced practice RN, or even if you're a registered nurse, you know, you always want to try to make sure that your license don't lapse on you, it don't expire on you. Because anytime any of those happen, it's always a nightmare trying to get them, like, you know, renewed just by reading all the different things that you'd have to do. So, you know, try to ensure that you stay on top of things. If it means that you're going to put in like a reminder to say every January at this time, you know, you get a reminder to say that your license is expiring, so that way you can always go ahead and peep in to say, you know, this is the amount of hours you have, or this is the amount of hours you need. So that way, you know, by the time you reach at that point, you can feel a little bit more relaxed and, you know, too, you know, tense or too, you know, scared about what's next. And then option 2 is to recertify by examination. Let me read it again. Recertify by examination. And then it says take the AGNP or the FNP National Research Certification Exam. So take the AGNP or FNP National Certification Exam. Due to the examination retirement, this is not an available option for ANP and the GNP certification. You must hold the RN licensure during the period of certification. So basically, as I say, it's the same thing. You have to go ahead and keep your license in check. Check it every day, just like how you walk, and you know, if you walk with Bonia, you check it just the same. You know, so that's just it in a nutshell. Until then, I will tell you about my experience. Oh, and another thing, if you have prescriptive authority, which means you'll be writing prescription, you know, you have to apply for that online as well. And for Texas, it's a part of the online process where you can actually just go ahead and pay for it, and then you just get back everything in one. So what I did was like a combo to get my RN, APRN, and prescriptive authority done at the same time. So that was a plus on that. So just make sure that you're checking your board of nursing to ensure that you're not missing out on anything, because you don't want it to be a case where you miss something and then your license become expired, it lapse, or you know, something else going on where you have to resort to resitting the exam. Until then, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. I know I said it was going to be a short video, and it's almost over 15 minutes. But anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate you being here, and thank you for listening. I do hope that you'll have a wonderful day. Bye.